Hello, my beautiful gods and goddesses. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, today we are going to talk about co-parenting with a toxic person. Okay, I wanted to talk about this because in my holistic health class, one of my peers had asked it on our discussion post. If it was possible to co-parenting, she basically asked, how do you leave toxicity behind when you share children with them, right? So I wanted to speak a little bit about that because I too have had to experience that, right? And I'm pretty sure a lot of us have. So is it possible to co-parent with someone who is toxic? Yes. Now, how do we do that? Um, in my experience, I found that it's best to figure out your triggers. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Um, Figure out what it is that triggers you when it comes to the person who you share kids with. Okay. Like for me, one of my triggers was the fact that, he don't be there, if we have a set schedule, okay, whatever, when you're supposed to get the kids, and it's like, okay, when it's your time to get the kids, you don't get the kids. That's a trigger for me. But why is that a trigger for me? That's a trigger for me because, I experienced a lot of abandonment issues when I was a kid, right? So, excuse me, y'all, I'm a little nervous having to do live. My phone broke. And so I'm having to, give y'all videos on live. And it's just a little scary. It's just a little. But, so yeah, that was a trigger for me because, again, my parents didn't always show up for me as a child when I felt like they should. So, that's not something I wanted for my kids to experience. Um, let's see, what was another trigger for me? Um, I don't know. It's just a lot of things that triggered me, honestly. But a lot of it, when it really, really boiled down to it, didn't have anything to do about the kids, right? It just really had to do with like, dang, I didn't invest all this time, all my emotions, all my energy into a relationship that didn't work. And I'm pissed off. I'm mad at you. I'm taking on majority of the work when it comes to the kids, and you're not showing up the way I expect you to show up, and things like that. See, and I'm telling you guys this because people can play on those triggers, okay? Um, just like you, just like I'm telling you to, figure out what your triggers are. The person who you was with, the person who you share kids with, are probably more aware of them because they're on the outside of you, okay? And see, they know what's going to trigger you, right? So once you identify what triggers you and you work on, you know, how you react to those triggers, or, finding out why you have those triggers and healing that part of you, then you take your control back. Okay. For example, let's see, maybe like a month and a half ago, um, my kid's father had said something like, oh, sometimes I wonder if these kids is even mine. And I ain't gonna lie, like that triggered me. Like, fuck, Boy, if these kids was not yours, do you think I would still be here, even dealing with you, like going through all this shit that I didn't have to go through? But I'd take them to their real daddy and be living my best life. But, you know, so I had to pull my energy back because, for one, I had to realize that you're saying this to get a certain reaction out of me because you didn't get the reaction that you wanted out of me before. Okay, so like with anything, okay, because see, we got triggers and then the other person got triggers too. So say if like, you know, your person, you the one who walked away, right? But your person still wants to be with you. They're automatically going to be in their feelings because you don't want to be with them no more. And that's triggering to them for whatever reason. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's a very selfish reason because if y'all not together, then something was not beneficial for one party, right? So, um, he had been talking about getting back together, and I'm like, no, like, that door is closed. At this point, like, we just need to co-parent for our kids. And that triggered him because I didn't tell him what he wanted to hear. I wasn't like, oh, yeah, maybe one day we can work on it and we'll get back together. So, because he didn't get the reaction that he wanted then, he tried a different way. All right. And see, after so long of you guys being split up, you'll be able to identify too when they're trying to push your buttons, which again is why it's important for you to know yourself. Okay. Um, but I had to take a step back. I'm like, okay, no phone calls. We like none of that. Because if you question if these are your kids, then you ain't got to take care of them, right? But anyways, um, I'm sorry, y'all. My phone, I can hear my phone keep going off. But so yeah, it's important for you to identify your triggers. A lot of the stuff that we that trigger us comes from an unhealed place within ourselves. And once you learn how to control or identify your triggers, you can work on that. All right. Um, and understand too that you got to let somebody be toxic by themselves. Okay. Again, it's all about how you react to the situation. Because a toxic co-parenting partner is just like a kid who throw a tantrum. Like I was just ranting about, like, if somebody don't get their way, they're gonna try a different way to get your attention, a different way to get some type of reaction out of you. Okay, so sometimes you gotta let them throw their tantrums, and you just like, okay, look, I'll talk to you when you get it together. Okay, that's one thing I've learned. Pull that energy back because that's the main thing. They want a reaction. Stop giving them the candy when you already said no. Okay? Your energy is the candy. I don't know. Don't nobody got time to be arguing and fighting and going back and forth, especially as a parent. Okay? I could be using that energy to clean up. I could be using that energy to cook dinner. I could be using that energy to fucking go to work. I could be using that energy to read books to my kids. I could be using that energy on anything besides going back and forth. Sometimes it may be unfair. Okay. But I've learned to accept that too, because at the end of the day, whatever energy that we put out into the universe, we're going to get back. Okay. So also remember, you are responsible for the energy that you're putting out. Okay. When they go low, don't go lower. No. Do what you got to do. And again, transmute that energy into something better. Let's see, what other tips do I have? I think that's really it. Okay, it's just really like I've been explaining on this channel. Okay, everything in life really comes back to you. Okay, how you decide to deal with situations, what you decide to give your energy to. We create our own reality. Is co-parenting with a toxic person always going to be easy? No. But shit, parenting in general is never easy. Okay. Um, so take your power back by identifying what it is inside you that is triggering. And as soon as you feel like somebody's trying to manipulate you emotionally, mentally, any of that, pull that energy back. Because then the moment you give into it, you're gonna feel it. Okay? And they didn't want. No. Like I tell my kid's father, the only thing we really have in life to even discuss or talk about is our kids. Okay? Anything outside of that is a bonus, right? Being able to call someone and be like, hey, how you doing? How was your day? Oh, I just wanted to chat. I just wanted to talk. All of that stuff, that's a bonus. And it really don't, um, it's not needed to co-parent. All right. No, I don't care about who you're talking to. No, I don't care about, what you got going on in your life. Not like that. Um, can you get your kids on the day that you said you was gonna get your kids? No? Okay. Nothing else to talk about. Can you help me out this week with groceries, school tuition, whatever it is? No? Okay, that's fine. I'll figure it out. Don't get upset. Oh, you motherfucker, you're just a deadbeat. You just never do. I always gotta do all this shit by myself. See, because no, no. Sometimes that's all a reaction a motherfucker need. Okay? And once we start understanding as well that for me, look here, another thing that helped me not stress is because I know God, the universe, whoever it is that you believe in is always going to provide. Okay? Sometimes people will not do their part just to keep you stagnant, just to keep you in that, oh, well, it's me. We are not a victim. Okay? My mom told me when I had my first kid, she was like, look here, Crystal, you about to have this baby. And let me tell you, she said, don't be worried about no man. Okay. You're going to have to do what you got to do for you and your kids. And that's period. You know, regardless of what the other parent does or doesn't do, it has to get done. Okay. So don't complain about it. Kids don't stay kids forever. Um, but I also, it's not never a situation where I'm keeping him away from his kids, where bashing him to his kids. All of that is also toxic energy. So again, you can't be like, oh, I don't want to co-parent with someone who is toxic, but then you're also being toxic. Because again, the energy that we put out into the universe is the energy that we're going to get back. Okay? So like I said, when they go low, you don't go to hell. All right? Don't go to hell. No. We're going to rise above We're going to be the bigger person. I know, I know, I know. Some of y'all only 5'2", but still be the bigger person. Okay, 5'5". Be the bigger person. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna pay out for you. Okay. It don't matter. Okay. Once you take relieve yourself of that stress, free yourself from that, and make life so much easier. All right, y'all. That's all I gotta say. I'm gonna get back on here since I've been live. All right. I guess I'll read some cards for y'all. It's not too bad being on live. So yeah, that was that. And if you have a hard time figuring out what your triggers are, just like I said, there will be patterns. Okay. Like, just like take notes. Okay. When you interacting with your co-parenting partner. And if something make you mad, even if you blow up, okay, because again, we're working on getting better. So right now, even if you get mad about it, that's fine. But write it down, okay? Write it down, and this way you can get a visual of what your triggers are. You can get a visual of repeated patterns if that's what works for you. Okay? I didn't need to do all that because I've been trying to just be more aware of myself for like this whole year. So I've been kind of working on it already. But for those of us who have not been working on self awareness as much as others, or whatever the case, some people are just better visual learners. Okay, write it down. And, you know, write down, once you write it down, try to figure out where or why you're being triggered. Why are these your triggers? Okay. When is the first time that you can remember something like this triggering you? Like, some people just don't like being talked to the wrong way. And that's like understandable. But like I was saying, for example, like, my thing with being super upset that he didn't get his kids when he was supposed to is because, I was still holding on to trauma from my childhood. And, again, my parents not showing up for me the way I thought they should. And I was kind of like, projecting my trauma onto my kids' life. Like, because at the end of the day, shit, I didn't have a parent. I had a amazing, wonderful parent who showed up for me all the time. But because I was so focused on my biological parents not being there and showing up for me, that was trauma that I was still holding on to. And I'm like, honestly, when I look at it, my kids is good. Of course, yeah, they miss their dad, from time to time. Of course, they want to spend time with their father. They love him and all of that. But, you know, they good emotionally, physically, mentally, like they're good. And sometimes us fighting for something could do more damage, you know? So just keep that in mind. I know this was like a little bit all over the place. Next live, I'm trying to have it a little bit more organized. I was a little nervous too to get on here with y'all, but anyways, I love you guys, and I'll see you in a couple minutes, I guess, to do some readings. I want to do some readings with you guys. All right, loves.